what is that definition of a crisis? How have you seen it evolve, given all your time with major brands shaping those narratives and businesses? How have you seen the definition of a crisis evolve for a company? It could be in any sector.
Sure. I would say two things. One, like Archana rightly pointed out, is that crises are far more prevalent now because everyone's a spokesperson, everyone's media in his own right, and therefore you never know when the next big problems come in. As compared to, let's say, even a couple of decades ago, and I would say it largely in the early days of pre-social media, there were few and far between, right? I lived to one through in 2002, the pesticide crisis that happened to the cola companies. This was a serious report done by a well-regarded NGO on environmental protection, and it hit the front page of the papers. And obviously for a few months things went completely haywire, and we had to really work through it. But it was still a single source crisis that was identifiable. The company had a crisis committee put together, worked through it. It took its while. Today, I think what we have is a lot of micro elements. You never know, right? It could be a customer service issue. It could be somebody finding your communication a little over the top. It could be a fringe group taking umbrage to, something that a distributor of yours did in a strange part of the country. If you're a multinational, it could be someone feeling offended by what your global headquarters country has done in other contexts. So I think it could come from anywhere. And more importantly, I think it's also that they could explode in no time. So, what hits someone at 11 o'clock in the morning, by 3 in the afternoon could be raging on social media, and by 5 in the evening could possibly mean street protests. So I think the time between when a crisis hits is picked up and before you start reacting, I think that has collapsed quite dramatically. And therefore, I do believe that corporates and agencies struggle to keep pace with it. Earlier, it was slightly more tempered, and therefore you could work through a strategy. I think now it's happening real time. And I think that's where companies are not as well prepared and therefore struggle a bit.
Yeah, I'd like to add that, yeah, absolutely. That's very, very true. The agility that it requires from brands and companies has really been fast forward. Because there's no way that you always on, and we all know crisis doesn't come by an appointment night. You can't schedule it.
Hit you at any time.
It hits you in the sort of late in the evening when there's no resources available at that point of time, maybe in the office or otherwise.
Absolutely. So it's interesting because while we're talking about how that time has collapsed from the time a crisis hits to your response time and all of that, but at the same time, even a crisis can collapse as quickly. Can die down within a day, depending, of course, on the scale and the gravity of it.